Hello and welcome to Inside Your County Government, a podcast that brings you an inside look at the people and events in and around county government that shape our Charles County. I'm your host, Brent Huber. This episode is part of our Boards and Commissions series. Boards and Commissions play a crucial role in shaping our community, and over this series we'll be exploring what they do, why they're important, and how you can get involved. Today we are thrilled to have with us Jeff Bossart, a dedicated member of the Planning Commission, and we're going to be talking about what that commission is and how it aids in our local governance. Welcome, Jeff.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, great. So let's start right at the beginning. What is the Planning Commission?
So the Planning Commission is actually like a citizen advocacy group for projects, if you will, that happen in the county. It's actually kind of a advisory board to the Board of County Commissioners for commercial, small business, residential, transportation, highway, public works. So it's really kind of a board that actually hears and listens to the project and then takes citizen input as projects gets developed through their preliminary stage and all to final approval.
So these projects, they're everything from infrastructure projects to just housing developments, apartments, townhouses, that kind of thing?
Correct. They're actually commercial. We've actually had car dealerships come in front of the board, residential development, minor, major, road, highway improvements and such. And so it's really kind of a way to really look and explore what's going on in the county through the planning and growth patterns, and then to basically take citizens' inputs. Also heavily into the environmental aspect of the county, preserving green space and such. So it's really a good way to kind of see what happens throughout the county.
So why is the Planning Commission so important to governing Charles County?
So the Planning Commission it's a 7-member board appointed, by the commissioners, basically folks that may have planning background, maybe not, from a variety of disciplines across the county. So what it does, it really it's a way to vet projects, if you will, through the county to make sure that those projects and those activities meet the county's comprehensive plan, to make sure development follows kind of the strategic approach to county growth and county development.
And this is for the large scale projects. Like if I was putting a deck on my house or building a house or something like that, I wouldn't necessarily come before the Planning Commission.
Correct. Yeah, this is for really kind of that change the landscape approach to your neighborhood, to the county. Like if a commercial box store wanted to put something in, let's say Walmart or something like that, wanted to expand, that's kind of where the Planning Commission comes in. So it's really not, like you said, for smaller projects, for homeowners, residential. It's really for the larger aspect. And to make sure that all that activity meets the growth and the comprehensive plan that has been developed.
So anything that would kind of have an impact on the community too.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
So how does the community intersect with the Planning Commission?
So the community, and one of the aspects I like about the Planning Commission, the community provides public testimony, is able to, and if so willing, to actually provide public testimony into any project, any aspect of whatever that may be going on. So the community can provide virtual, in-person, written public testimony to that project, whether they're positive or negative. And so one of the aspects of the commission is to hear that, is to hear those comments, and then to provide a decision point and a recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners on whether yay or nay for that project.
So the community input really does have an impact, correct?
Yes. Oh, yes. Tremendous impact. One of the things that I do like, and I wish more folks and the community would participate in the Planning Commission, because there's a lot of development going on, and there's a lot of aspects to it that really requires community input. The county's comprehensive plan is undergoing a rewrite, a redevelopment of it in this year, really with the final projected in 2026. Where the community can weigh in and should weigh in on the county and see where the county's going for the next 5 to 10 years.
Because that's what the comprehensive plan kind of does. It kind of correct me if I'm wrong, the Planning Commission kind of works with PGM and the public, and they kind of form the comprehensive plan or make updates to it?
Correct. And with public input, of course. Mm-hmm. And so, yes, so the Planning Commission kind of guides the process into different aspects of whatever, whether it's transportation, it's additional residential, more commercial, more small business, to look at the county as a whole with citizen input. Mm-hmm. And the planning and growth management actually provide kind of the framework, where then the Planning Commission kind of eases all that process through the public input before it gets to the Board of County Commissioners.
So the Planning Commission would have a role in determining what zones are zoned.
Yes.
Commercial, what are zoned?
Commercial, agricultural, industrial, yes. And so typically on the zoning aspect of it, if you're zoned agriculture, the intent is to preserve the green space, preserve agriculture as much as possible. So you might not want a big development going into an agricultural area. And so if it goes in there as proposed like that, then the question is, does it become rezoned? And if it becomes rezoned, then what is the citizen input to that rezoning to change that aspect of it, with the intent to preserve as much as possible, whether it's agricultural, it's industrial, it's commercial, and so on and so forth.
Right. Now the Planning Commission, I mean, it seems like you're all the time working on something.
Yes.
So what's the big thing right now?
So right now it's the comprehensive plan. Mm-hmm. We're just started looking at the comprehensive plan. Also, affordable housing. We're really kind of spending a lot of time on affordable housing to make sure that folks in the county have an opportunity. One of the things that certainly that the Planning Commission looks at, and that I personally look at, is to make sure that there's a balance between residential and commercial small business, with the idea of trying to retain talent and keep talent within the county rather than transiting out of the county, whether it's living in the county or pursuing a work elsewhere or vice versa. So that's one of the things that we're working on right now, is to look at the kind of the affordable housing aspect to see what can be done, and look at the growth patterns for the comprehensive plan. One of the other things we're looking at is transportation. Certainly no surprise around here, the amount of traffic.
As a lifelong resident, I can tell you.
Yes.
Yeah, Waldorf gets a little crazy at times.
It does. It does. And so that's kind of one of the key pieces of my aspect, is to make sure that balance is there as much as I can, and certainly as the Planning Commission can. But it's so important for the citizens to engage, to provide their comments and their inputs into it. Certainly you want to make sure that, if there's a new highway project or a new road project, you don't want to go in through anybody's neighborhood. You want people to say, is this good? Is this not?
But the public involvement in it, though, seems to be a really big part of it, because you really take a lot from what you're hearing.
Yes. And so one of the things that, we really look for is for the public to engage. It kind of, it gives the Planning Commission an input into the concern, if you will, or the challenges that might be there. And without that, we're really kind of looking at planning and growth management, and really looking at the Planning Commission to make that decision. What really helps is for the public to get more engaged into that process. So we've had some really good engagement here in the last, I think I've been on the board for about a year and a half now. So we've had some really good engagement from the public. More is better. And so certainly that. So there are plenty of opportunities at every meeting. We meet pretty much 2 times a month. And at every meeting, there's an opportunity for the public to engage, for public witness, public hearing, public testimony, and so forth.
Right, because a project comes in, there's a process that project would flow through. And one point is coming before the Planning Commission. And then the public has the ability to speak on that and to address that. But it still has to go to the commissioners, right?
Correct. So projects, there might be, a new subdivision that's being planned. And so, yes, it goes through planning and growth management, it kind of going through the permit cycle. It goes through the site design. And so if it's a minor or major subdivision, that basically comes in front of the Planning Commission to get approved or not. And then from that point, it moves on to the Board of County Commissioners, really for final approval. So there's some authorities that can be done within planning and growth management, some that the Planning Commission have, and then some at the Board of County Commissioners. So it's kind of the whole process cycle. What's really important, though, is to hear from the community that, hey, this affects me in this way, or I agree with it, or this should happen, in this aspect.
Right. What do you find most challenging?
What I find challenging is really kind of trying to blend the amount of residential to commercial. One of the things that certainly that I look at it as a personal aspect of it is to make sure that that blend and that balance is 50-50, or if you will, just to kind of, be a little bit of ambiguous about it. But it's really kind of that aspect. There's a lot of projects that come through. We've actually just had preliminary site design is the last commission meeting that we had just this past Monday, where we looked at a preliminary site design to make sure that the green space, forest conservation, forest easement is addressed, making sure that the watersheds are addressed, but still providing an opportunity for the landowner to develop if they would like in a responsible and effective manner. So the challenge is try to balance that all throughout the whole project and the prospect of it.
Right. Well, in all my years here of covering Planning Commission back years ago, balance seems to be the key thing, because you're balancing the need for commercial against the need for residential, the need for development against green space, the need for the homeowner or the landowner to be able to execute their rights to do with the land what they want. So how does that? I mean, that's an interesting line to walk, isn't it?
It is. So as a landowner, you don't want a government entity to say you can't do that,
right?
But for the community at large, you want to make sure that the community and the neighborhood is addressed, their concerns are addressed, to ensure that whatever is being done is done in a responsible and accountable manner.
And I think that's the big thing there: responsible and accountable manner.
Correct.
Yeah,
correct.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's the challenge, and that challenge occurs whether it's small or a large project.
Yeah. Now, you say you've been on the board for about a year and a half?
About a year and a half.
Yep.
I think it was December 2023. Been on the board and enjoyed every minute of it. It's every 2 weeks. I think it's really, it's for me, it was kind of a goal to get more involved in the community, certainly to maybe lend a little bit of expertise. So I retired from the federal government, worked for Department of Navy for 35 years, and I did a lot of planning with the government, environmental planning, environmental compliance and management programs, and worked in Board of Public Works and such like that. So it kind of gave me an opportunity, an avenue to take the skills that I did for my career and kind of apply it into the county. So I've been wanting to get on the planning commission for a long time. And so, the tea leaves kind of lined up, and here I am.
Well, wonderful. But you don't necessarily, going back to public involvement, and you don't necessarily have to have all those credentials, do you?
You do not.
Yeah.
You do not. And so the board is made up of 7 members, the Planning Commission board, and it's a variety from transportation expertise, development expertise, emergency management service, commercial development. So you don't really have to have that expertise. And really, it should be very diverse as much as possible across all disciplines. So you get those different opinions through that. So, it's a challenging aspect. There is a time commitment to it, but it's very, to me and to the others, it's very important. And so that different aspect to it, applying and getting interviewed by the Board of County Commissioners and kind of getting appointed to it is really kind of part of that process.
Right.
So, and I've enjoyed it. I think there's a lot of opportunity for it.
Oh, absolutely. So in your time there, what's been your biggest takeaway? What's been what's made you feel really good about it?
So basically, from my background in planning and environmental, is to ensure that the county's natural environment is balanced with both the residential and the commercial. That's kind of been my biggest takeaway. That's really kind of what drives me to be there, is to make sure that, yes, if you want to go to a park, if you want to walk out in the forest somewhere and not see anybody, or you want to go to a convenience store or something like that, you have that opportunity for it. So that's been my biggest takeaway to it. I enjoy all the projects. Everyone is a little different,
Right.
some more complex than others, but everyone has their different kind of piece to it, if you will.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Jeff, awesome having you here. Awesome talking about this. Is there anything you want to talk about before we kind of wrap this up?
No, it's been good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I would just encourage any citizen to certainly become engaged during the public portion of the Planning Commission, and when openings are available, to input and provide some type of avenue to get there and to be on that board. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for people.
Oh, absolutely. And for anybody, watching this or listening to this, Planning Commission meets when?
We meet twice a month, usually the first, I think it's second Monday of the month. And typically pretty much all throughout the year. I think there's a couple months where we meet once a month, but it's really 20-some meetings, 20, 22, 24 meetings a year. 6 o'clock at the county government building. Usually it's from 6 to 8. We're back here in the county government building in the Blue Room, so there's plenty of opportunity for folks to come in, and I certainly wish more folks would come in.
Oh, absolutely. Maybe after seeing this, we'll increase your audience a little.
I hope so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Jeff, it's wonderful to talk about the Planning Commission with you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Remember, local government is strongest when we all participate. So until next time, stay engaged and stay connected. Thanks for listening. If you like this podcast and want to hear more, search Charles County Government on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. And be sure to like and subscribe. We're also available on YouTube. Search Charles County Commissioners. And stay connected for all county news, information, and programs by visiting www.charlescountymd.gov/stay connected.